Our top focus story on the broadcast, a big diplomatic victory for India at the United Nations Security Council and a major snub both to China and to Pakistan. For the third time after the abrogation of Article 370, China and Pakistan failed to raise Kashmir at the United Nations. At the Security Council, China was isolated. All other permanent members and the 10 non-permanent members backed India, saying UN was not the appropriate forum for Kashmir. It's a bilateral issue. Geeta Mohan gets you our top story tonight. Huge setback for Pakistan at the United Nations. China left red-faced too at the United Nations Security Council. The United Nations turns down Pakistan and China's demand to discuss Kashmir. It was the third stinging slap on Pakistan and China, with the United Nations Security Council turning down China's demand to discuss Kashmir at the UN. The issue was to be taken up for informal discussions in the any other agenda segment. However, both Pakistan and China were red-faced, with all other members of the UN Security Council turning down the request.
To find a better way for the future.
Neither the alarmist scenario painted by the representatives of Pakistan nor any of the baseless allegations made repeatedly by various representatives of Pakistan in UN fora were found to be credible. Pakistan's practice of using false pretenses to distract from addressing the malaise that afflicts it has run its course today.
China should seriously reflect on this global consensus, draw the proper lessons, and refrain from taking such action in the future. Overwhelming support was for this forum not to be misused by Pakistan through a member.
Especially France and Russia showed no inclination to discuss Kashmir. In fact, the permanent members of the UNSC re-emphasized the need for the issue to be discussed bilaterally between India and Pakistan. Sources also told India today that of the 15 members at the Security Council, 14 sided with India, leaving China isolated.
If the Chinese want to play this game, then this is a game two can play. If the Chinese think that Kashmir is our weak underbelly, then the Chinese have their own weak underbellies, and certainly those can be exploited by India.
As our ambassador had said already, that it is not even listed on the agenda. It was to be raised in the any other business, which is really the fag end, and anybody is free to raise anything. So I think it was more a gesture that China was trying to do to Pakistan, that they are standing with them, knowing full well that all the P4 and other members will reject it, and that is what has happened. So I think it was just a futile exercise by China.
This now is the third major setback both for Pakistan and for China after the abrogation of Article 370. Pakistan, though, still continues to look for a desperate face saver. Both Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi and Prime Minister Imran Khan claim they will continue to rake up Kashmir at international fora. With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today. Joining me on the show, India Today, is Hamza Amir from Pakistan. Pathikrit Payne is a keen Pakistan watcher and a national security analyst. He joins me on the broadcast. Hamza, big setback for Pakistan. Is Imran Khan in the dock? Shah Mahmood Qureshi, what about him? How is Pakistan reacting to this setback?
Well, Gaurav, Pakistan is narrating an entirely different story. All are coming out from the official quarters. We had the Foreign Office gave out a statement today saying that this was a success for Pakistan, that a third meeting, closed-door meeting, was convened by the UNSC and the United Nations Military Observers Group to discuss Kashmir. Then even the Prime Minister a little while back tweeted and thanked the United Nations for bringing the Kashmir issue up on their request. So Pakistan is maintaining that what has happened at the closed-door meeting in the United Nations is by far a success for Pakistan in its ongoing campaign to raise the Kashmir issue at the international platform. So Pakistan is not saying that this is a disappointment or any of that sort on Pakistan's side. They say that this is a success for Pakistan, that Kashmir issue is now on the agenda of the United Nations.
Let me also quickly bring in India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan. Geeta, is Pakistan then simply clutching at straws? It's a big victory for India at the UN. Of the 15 members, 14 were in India's favor. It's a big loss of face, as much for Pakistan as it is for China, because Pakistan is used to being kicked around, Geeta.
Well, that's right. Not just the non-permanent members, the 4 permanent members not only sided with India, but 3 of them very clearly said that it's a bilateral issue and should be resolved bilaterally. The United States of America said that the United Nations Security Council is not the right fora for a discussion on Kashmir. So all the 4 permanent members completely rejected China's move. China has to rethink its strategy, whether it wants to keep getting embarrassed on the international platform because of Pakistan, or look at a realistic picture of how there are no takers for any discussion on Kashmir at the world body and move on. These are questions that Beijing needs to really look at and introspect rather than Islamabad anymore, Gaurav.
Patikrit, how is China expected to view these repeated setbacks? Is this not a major loss of face even for the dragon?
So China, they are a very thick-skinned long-term player. They have one set of teeth for the rest of the world to see and another set which is for the real purpose. So there is always a subterfuge in between what they actually show and what their ulterior motive is. It might so happen that they have been doing all these things just to keep Pakistan in good humor, to show that they are in solidarity with Pakistan. But rest for everything else, we know that China cannot simply dump India right now for the simple reason that the trade war they have with United States right now, China at the same time is looking for deeper penetration into the Indian market. They have been asking India to be part of the regional comprehensive economic partnership. There are other areas where there are major cooperation going on between India and China. So China, as I look at it, is trying to play a very nuanced double game, or a game where they're trying to show to the Pakistanis that okay, we are with you, but if you look at the Wuhan spirit, and we don't know what all things have been discussed, it might so happen that they have also told to the Indians that look, for all practical purposes, we are not against you. There is no sanction that China is putting on India. There is nothing like cancelling all trade deals or other deals that they are doing. On the contrary, they are asking India to open up the market more for the Huawei, but just for the other purpose in terms of keeping Pakistan happy because of the CPAC. They might at times raise these issues in very inconsequential UNSC meetings where they know it will be vetoed by other members who would not vote in favor of China. So it is, it's like in the short term it might actually seem that they're losing, but in the long term it might be a win-win situation, not just for China but also India as well. You see, that's the reason.
Let's see how this pans out. Patikrit, stay with me.